where he shows that, hey, if you want to scale to a different level, you look on Instagram, scaling means like a rocket ship, you're going to go.
Oh, yeah, it's easy.
Yeah. It's just like, you just got to put in the work. You just got to grind.
Right.
But really what it means when you scale, you dip. You go into a valley of death for a while. And soon as I just, one, saw that that's straight line success is never possible.
It's a big lie.
Yeah. And that valley of the death, or go into your valleys of death, are like rites of passage. My whole paradigm shifted.
When did you first learn that?
About Valley of Death? 2018, Q3 meeting at Collective Genius.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, because he spoke about it then. So for those that are listening, can you elaborate a little bit on what the Valley of Death means?
Yeah, so it's scaling up, the book Scaling Up, Vern Harnish, right? It's a graph in like the first or second chapter, but if you want to scale up, you're going to go to a valley of death first. You're going to, whether it be a revenue dip or a personal challenge, psychological challenge, not knowing if you can do something.
Big profit dip.
Yeah, you're going to dip.
Yeah.
And so at the time, I had probably, the business divorce happened once we started really getting into turnkey flipping. And so 0 to 30 flips were awesome. I was just like, oh my God, I'm a genius. I finally figured this out. It's everything
Kiyosaki said it was going to be. It was just straight line success.
I was just like, it just had to keep going.
Yeah.
And then we're like, all right, well, we want to, instead of doing 30 flips a year, we want to do 100. So let's get a project manager. Let's get some more crews. Let's start that level of scale. Absolutely. And that's not even really scaling. That's just trying harder.
It's doing more work.
Yeah, that broke me because I couldn't coordinate action at that level at that point.
Yeah.
And so then when the partner left, I'm just like, how?
Oh, he left in the middle of the Valley of Death.
Because he thought we were a straight line success too, that I can check out now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And so it was this, and so I talked to Larry about it at SEAL Team Leaders, but the pressure of having to make it work because the debt we are in, and then the fact that I didn't see it, that we were still getting better, but we were getting better. But we were failing so hard every day. But we were still flipping houses, but then I didn't understand cash management. And so it's just like every punch in the face that I was going to get, I was taking all at once.
Right.
And then I wasn't able to articulate until I talked to Larry about it, but I'm like, dude, I had not felt that bad since Afghanistan. And I had felt guilty about saying that. And I was like, I don't mean to be disrespectful to veterans. And like, I only could really say this to Larry. And he's like, Jimmy, that is a very common experience. And he's like, at least overseas, you had your team, you had your guys. Like, it sounds like you just had you and Susie during all this.
Yeah.
And that's true. But
Right.
And I felt guilty for a long time saying that feeling is comparable to combat, but it just is what it is.
Right. Well, I mean, for you, right, just as a human being, like, this is what
Yeah.
you can best relate it to. I don't think there's anything to feel bad about.
Right.
It's just what you can compare it to.
But I'm just like, how can business feel like combat? And I was just like, I don't know, but it does.
Yeah. So would you say then, of all the different challenges, that was the biggest challenge as far as like the Valley of Death?
Yeah, that was rock bottom.
Got it.
Oh, and at the same time, because I was on straight line success to get rich, we were doing $150,000 rehab on our house.
I mean, if you're gonna do it, you gotta do it right.
Right.
You gotta go big.
If I'm gonna mess something up, I will mess it all up. I'm not just gonna make a few little mistakes.
Yeah, I mean, that's the same exact philosophy I subscribe to. My wife doesn't agree with it, but you know, I've kind of shared with her she doesn't like this definition. I've always said, like, it's the husband's job to go find trouble, and the woman's job to help him keep him out of it.
Yeah.
She doesn't like it, but
it's
kind of what we're
deep down, I guarantee she's having fun.
I think she's having fun.
Right.
So what were some other, because you're talking about like you're getting punched in all these different directions.
And it was such a weird thing because I was doing what I'd always said I wanted to do, and I was getting better at it. It was just painful getting better.
Mm-hmm. So what would you say were the top 2 or 3 lessons you learned in that experience?
That one, don't feel guilty, that it's part of the game. And I'll never forget, like, going to CG when I was really deep down in it. I would clam up. I wouldn't talk to anybody about it. Mm-hmm. And then I think like 2 meetings later, like, I came clean about everything we've been going through, and I could see like Micah's, you know, and Mark, all the guys I look up to, like, looking at me and like, this idiot finally gets it. that this is part of the game, that you have to run to the valleys of death. And then at the same time, I was reading Principles, and I learned about Hero's Journey. And so my whole paradigm just shifted.
Right. Yeah, it's this is such like a ridiculous comparison, but when I was growing up, my younger brothers always watched like Dragon Ball Z. You ever watch this stuff?
Yeah.
Right. I kind of compare like the Valley of Deaths with all the little mini deaths that the Saiyans go through, right?
Yeah.
Like they die and they come back stronger, or they get close to death and they come back stronger. They come closer to death, they come back stronger. I kind of feel like this Valley of Death is like, it's this test and you get stronger. You take another test and you get stronger. So you went through how many valleys of death?
How many am I going through right now?
I don't know, because the chart that Daniel showed, there was like 4.
Yeah.
Right? There were different tiers.
Yeah.
So.
But like, have you ever read Anti-Fragile?
I have not read Anti-Fragile.
Oh my God, so when all this going on, I'm reading like all these great books. But the concepts of Anti-Fragile is, everybody knows what fragile is, right?
Yeah.
Like you get hit, you break. And then robust means like you're tough. Like you can take a punch in the face and come back up.
You get an iron jaw.
But now anti-fragile is your jaw gets stronger as it gets hit.
Got it.
And so Nassim Taleb's stance is that humans are inherently anti-fragile.
Right.
It's just like you were talking about Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
Like the more, as long as the pressure doesn't break you, like you do plyometrics, right?
Used to.
But plyometrics make you stronger.
Right.
Now, if you did plyometrics from a 2-story building, it would break you.
Oh, yeah.
So you got to stay in that zone where you can still keep getting stronger.
Yeah.
And you won't get broken.
Yeah.